my defense, what is there to say? All the mistakes we made must be faced today. It's not easy now, knowing where to start, while the world we love tears itself apart. I'm just a singer with a song. How can I try to right the wrong? For just a singer with a melody, I'm caught in between with a fading dream.
Benvenuti qui su Queen Fans Italia Worldwide. Insieme a me c'è sempre Veronica. Ciao Veronica.
Salve.
Qui con noi abbiamo un fantastico, grandissima persona, si chiama David Soames. Ciao David.
Hi, David.
Ciao David.
Hi.
Ok,
Pleasure to have you with us.
David ha fatto parte del mondo di Freddy, del Musical Time. Adesso gli faremo qualche domanda e ci racconterà qualche aneddoto. Ok, David. Allora, la prima domanda è: come sei entrato a far parte del Musical Time?
Okay, David, the first question is, how did you manage to be part of the Time musical?
Well, I trained as an actor in the Royal Scottish Academy of Drama, and then I worked in theatres and some television, but I was always writing. Then I met the guy called Jeff Daniels, who had an idea for a song. And all he knew was it was like a Doctor Who theme. So I wrote the lyrics to this, but I said to Jeff, I've come up with an idea for a whole musical called The Time Lord. So we wrote the show, a small show with the songs, lyrics, music, and we had it performed outside London around about 1977. And when the show ended, we demoed the songs and we had the script all finished, and I gave it to my agent, and my agent gave it to a West End producer in London who didn't know what to do with it for a year. And then he met Dave Clark, who became the producer of Time. And Dave was a great friend of Freddie Mercury's. And that's how Time was born. Then Dave Clark got involved. Dave Clark got involved in 1979, and it still took till 1986 to get it on the Dominion in London, with Sir Cliff Richard playing the lead, who was also a friend of Freddie's.
Okay, that's cool.
Ok. David, com'è nata la canzone In My Defense?
And how was In My Defense created?
Ah, the great song by the great man. Well, first of all, Time was the earth was put on trial by the Time Lord of the universe, because the planet Earth had moved into space, but we still couldn't take care of ourselves. We were still killing each other, starving each other, whatever. He decided to put the earth on trial, and he wanted to destroy the earth. So he sends for a politician to come to the High Court of the universe to defend the earth. But a black space pirate called Captain Ebony sends back a rock star, being Cliff Richard. So Cliff Richard's performing as it's a Cliff Richard concert in a way. Well, he's called Chris Wilder, the character. And after 3 songs, he gets transported to the High Court of the universe. Now, obviously, the judges, Trigon, Morgue, and Lagos, they say to the rock star, your planet is useless. All you're doing is killing each other, starving each other. You've never learned anything after 2 world wars. What can you say or do? Cliff Richard then says, because it's in a court and judges, in my defense, what is there to say? All the mistakes we've made must be faced today. It's not easy now knowing where to start, while the world we love tears itself apart. That's how the lyric became. So it was in relation to something that was happening in the High Court of the universe.
Ah,
Makes sense?
okay.
Yeah.
Genius.
So basically, and now we go into the song, which is what the important thing is about. Dave Clark did a concept album of Time, with an amazing amount of stars on this, like Cliff Richard, Stevie Wonder, Dionne Warwick, Julian Lennon, Freddie, Laurence Olivier doing the narration, the great, yeah, Freddie. Well, yeah, up here somewhere. Doing Laurence Olivier, the greatest theatre actor that ever lived, being Akash, the voice of the universe. And Dave said to Freddie, would you record this song called Time? Because Dave wrote that with John Christie. That one had nothing to do with me, except it was my idea, the Time Lord, blah, blah. Anyway, so Freddie says yes. And then Freddie said, what's this song called In My Defense? I said, yeah. And Dave said, oh, well, this is another song. So Freddie looked at it and said, I have to record this song. I need to record this song. So Dave said, of course, yeah, absolutely, Freddie. So Freddie recorded then In My Defense. Now, phenomenal. Now, there was an argument because Cliff Richard, who sang the song in the show, wanted to record it as a single. But Dave Clark, thank you, Dave, said, no, Freddie's going to do it. And I think
I was about to ask you that.
yeah, well, Cliff was really disappointed because he loved the song and he sang it every night for a year in the show. Anyway, Freddie recorded In My Defense. And the funny story was, I said to Jeff Daniels, who wrote the music, because I wrote the lyric first and I gave it to Jeff. And I said to Jeff, if you do the right melody on this, I think we've written a very, very, very good song. So he did a fantastic melody. When Freddie sung it, I went back to Jeff and I said, no, Jeff, we didn't write a good song. We wrote a great song because Freddie made it a great song. What was a good song? He just made it a great song. So basically, that was the story of the song. But now the song sat on a shelf for 5 years because Freddie was working then with Queen again very, very heavily. And the song wasn't released because they were doing Queen songs, releasing Queen songs. Now, and then, of course, the sad day, we all knew he was going to leave the planet, 1991, when he passed away. And they immediately released Bohemian Rhapsody, obviously, straight in the #1. Well, 1 year later, they were looking for a song that most of the world had never heard. And of course, sitting on a shelf was In My Defense. And they released My Defense for the Christmas period of 1992. And then the world heard the song. Now, the lyric to the song now goes beyond itself, because when Freddie sings it, it's almost about him singing about his life. In My Defense, what was there to say, all the mistakes we've made must be faced today. It's not easy now, no, it's that. Well, the world we love tears itself apart. And my lyric, I'm just a singer with a song, also became much, much, much more important when Freddie said those words. And I mean, Brian May then took the words and said, lover of life, singer of songs on Freddie's statue in Montreux and on the album. But in fact, the words came from the song of, I'm just a singer with a song. And the song, to Freddie Mercury fans, it took on a whole new meaning. I say this because I've spoken to quite a lot of them, especially in Montreux. And they said how they believe Freddie was singing about himself and his life. And that's the story of In My Defense.
Right.
Okay.
So I thought it was about himself too. at
Exactly.
first.
But that's what happens with it's like, this is cutting across a little bit. Every time I listen to Paul Simon's A Sound of Silence, I find something different in it, or it makes me think of something different. That's such a great lyric. And it's the same with when Freddie took this lyric that was meant for one thing, it became something else. It's his. I don't actually think of this lyric in time anymore. I just think of it as Freddie's song. I'm very proud that it's his song, you know. But because I always say, I mean, I've been in music, rock and roll for many, 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 many years, tens of years. And I always think, who else could have done this song better? And I really can't come up with anyone. The only people that could have nearly touched Freddie was George Michael and Elvis Presley. That's what I can say. But it's that good a performance that, you know, you think, that's it. You know, doesn't matter what anyone sings it. It was given, this song was meant for Freddie. Thank God, because the amounts of things that happen in life that could have stopped this song ever existing are unbelievable in history, in my history of getting this musical up on the stage. Then the producer happens to be a friend of Freddie's, Dave Clark, that Freddie's there on the spot to be doing this. And everything that could have happened, the musical took 6 years. Think any moment it could have fallen apart, as these things do, and it never happens. But I met Freddie once in my life, once. And it was on the opening night of Time, because there was a big party in London at the Hippodrome. And I had never met Freddie because Dave Clark recorded him, right? We were no need for us to be there. Anyway, I saw the great man and I walked up to him and I said, hello, Freddie, can I have a word with you? And he kind of looked at me and he said, yes. I said, well, I just wanted to thank you for singing my lyrics in my defense. And he kind of stepped back and he said, are you David Soames? I said, yes. He said, the lyrics are fabulous. He said, I love this song. And then he said, thank you for writing it. And I said, no, Freddie, thank you for singing it. We had a hug, shook, and then we parted ways. So that was the time I met the man.
Wow. Ok, io penso che la prossima domanda penso che in parte ha già risposto.
Sì, infatti stavo per dirti, ha risposto già alla terza.
Però volevo sapere se veramente Cliff Richards, dopo che ha ascoltato la versione di Freddie, si è arreso, ha detto vabbè, è inutile.
Okay, so you partially already answered the third question, which was originally, is it true that Cliff Richard initially wanted to sing in my defense? But is it true that he literally gave up after listening to Freddie's version?
I don't know about that, but there is a record. Some people have got a recording from the show where Cliff is singing in my defense with Freddie Mercury, and Freddie's voice just so overpowers Cliff. I mean, you know, Cliff Richard is a great artist. I mean, great. I mean, he's made hit records for 50 years and he's still here. But he doesn't. Freddie's machine, as I said to you, the only people I've ever known with Freddie's machine are George Michael and Elvis. So I think Cliff must have realized, well, I can't do it as good as that. And, you know, sat on that, really.
Ok. Allora, David, ricordi per caso qualche aneddoto su David Clark?
Do you remember any anecdote, any curiosity about Dave Clark?
Well, no, I mean, do you realize that Dave Clark was the third biggest band in the world in the 1960s after the Beatles and the Rolling Stones?
Oh.
Well, I wasn't
That's how
even
big he was.
Yeah,
He
I
was.
can't really know.
Yeah, he was the biggest band next to the Beatles and the Rolling Stones between 64 and 67 in the world. He was that huge. And the funny thing was, he was a drummer in the band. And it was his publishing company published the band. He managed the band. He co-wrote the songs. And he leased his songs to EMI. He was getting more per single than the Beatles. And he was a 21-year-old man. And he did all of this, Dave Clark. He was an amazing entrepreneur, Dave. And whenever he set his mind to do something, he would do it. But and the singer in the Dave Clark Five is a man called Mike Smith. And anyone out there who loves music, listen to Mike Smith's voice, because the best singers around the 60s, 70s thought Mike Smith had one of the best voices in rock music at the time. But Dave was a very, very clever man. Yeah, and thank goodness I met him, you know, and it all happened. Funny thing was, tell a little story. There's, a producer on the West End had time, didn't know what to do with it. It was called the Time Lord. And after a year, he sat on the Concorde to go to America, and who sat beside him but Dave Clark, by chance, and they knew each other. And they got talking, and Danny O'Donovan, this producer, says, I've got a musical, Dave says, send it over to me. eventually Danny sent it over to him, and it became Time in the West End for 2 years. The luck of the two of them getting on the Concorde at the exact same time and sitting beside each other. That's fate. Yes.
Mhm.
So as I was saying, lots of things could have happened that would have never, the musical would never have happened. So that's Dave Clark. So
Ok, David. Niente, hai assistito per caso alla registrazione del brano?
Did you get to be there, to be present when the song was recorded? You know,
no, I wasn't. No, Dave Clark was no, he would in the studio, it was just him and the musicians and the singers. We went there. As I said, that I would have met Freddie then, but no, I met him on the opening night of Time at the opening party. The only time I met him.
okay.
And you know, I mean, Cliff Richard sang lots of my lyrics out of Time. I I met after, once we started rehearsing Time, I mean, Cliff came to my apartment for dinner quite a few times, and we went out to restaurants together and stuff like that. We became acquaintance friends, you know, because it's easy to say, oh, he was my friend, but no, we were acquaintance friends, Cliff and I. And I mean, if I meet him now, we have a hug and say how things going and all of that, but people got on with their own lives.
Ok,
Right.
ok. Tu hai scritto altre canzoni per il musical, vero? Se non mi sbaglio, 4, ho detto.
You
Oh.
wrote more songs for the Time musical in it.
Yeah, I wrote 13, 1 second. Always happens, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So yes, I think there was 22 songs and I wrote the lyrics to 13. I'd written a few more, but Dave decided because he was doing this concept album, he would get some other songs from around the world and get Stevie Wonder involved and Dionne Warwick and something like that. So basically, but one of the songs I was really proud of that I wrote was the opening song for Time. I don't know if you guys have ever heard a song called Born to Rock and Roll by Cliff Richard. Have you? Well, I wrote the lyrics to that. And
Wow.
what you don't know, I'll tell you a funny little story of that. Having been an actor for many years before I became full-time writer, I did 10 Shakespeare plays as an actor around England, London. And one of Shakespeare's famous lines is, if music be the food of love, play on. And I used that as the first line in Born to Rock and Roll. If music be the food of love, play on. And then the second line, you know, from Julius Caesar, friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. So I put, if music be the food of love, if music be the food of love, lend me your ears as I lay down the song. So I took the first 2 lines from Shakespeare in the song, and then it just developed from there. And obviously it was called Born to Rock and Roll, and Cliff recorded that, but that's quite a good song, that one, I think, good rock song. And yeah, I was trying to think of something else that I was going to say, but yeah, that was cool. But so
I agree.
more. But
Ok, Dennis, è più legato alla prima versione del brano In My Defense o quella ufficiale del singolo?
Okay, do you prefer the early version of In My Defense, or do you prefer the official single release version?
I prefer the re-released version.
Okay.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. I mean, both, but yeah, I think that one. I mean, it's of Freddie's solo singles that he sang. Well, In My Defense is number 4 in the charts. I mean, obviously, Living on Your Own, Barcelona, The Great Pretender. That's the 3 that charted higher. In My Defense, it came number 4th in the charts, which was pretty cool. But it's the great thing about that song is for what it means to Freddie fans and Queen fans, that it lay on the shelf for 5 years, which was, you know,
Penso che
amazing.
sia la canzone più famosa di Freddie da solista, comunque.
Com'è?
Penso che sia la canzone più famosa di Freddie da solista, la più bella.
He thinks that In My Defense might be Freddie's most famous solo song.
Well, obviously Barcelona sold more songs,
Mhm.
and so did The Great Pretender and Living on My Own, which because it was really released twice. But I think, and that's just me, I think that Queen fans get more passion and feeling from that song than the other songs,
Mhm.
because it's almost, it sounds like Freddie's singing about himself and his life.
Yeah.
That's what takes it
That's
over
right.
the line. It's not through me, it's through him that this song has it's transcended itself, should I say, itself. Thank God, you know, it's when I hear it, I feel as if I wrote it for Freddie.
Mhm.
He delivers such an amazing, passionate performance. And then at the end, when he says, "Oh, thank you, God, please, please," you know, like you just kind of like go, "Oh my goodness, doesn't get any better than this, does it?" Really.
Infatti
No, the
quella
man
canzone
was.
ha raggiunto delle note altissime su MTV.
Non ho capito, Fra.
Ha raggiunto delle note altissime in quella canzone, Freddy, ha dato tutta la
Yeah.
sua passione.
Freddie hits really high notes in that song.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I know. I'm a singer too, and I find it difficult for me to sing that song. So yeah.
As I said to you, the only two people that there's other people can sing high notes, but it's having the quality of the voice to do those high notes and keep the quality, which only George Michael and Elvis could do to me. And I've listened
They
to a
make
lot.
it look so easy to do, but it's not.
No. If you, there's certain performances that you see someone do. I mean, George Michael singing Queen after Freddie died, you got, yes, he's touching, he's just tipping his finger on Freddie. He's that good, he's just nearly there. And if there's an Elvis Presley song called If I Can Dream, where he wears a white suit, and it was the end song on his 1968 comeback special. That's the moment he touches Freddie as well in that song. You could see Freddie doing that song, or George Michael. And they're just, I think they're a group of three that have this machine, but to keep the quality. Other people can go high and scream, but no, they've lost the quality. These three artists didn't never lose the quality. And Freddie was, yeah, I mean, just unbelievable, you know, and a showman. And the thing is about that Elvis touched him as well was they were both showmen, and Elvis started it. And I believe that's why Freddie recorded a crazy little thing called Love, because he was tipping his hat to Mr. Presley.
Yeah.
Yep, you see, knowing he's the king, the one that laid it all out for the rest of us to follow. So, yep, the world will never be the same. It can't be. You know, I mean, it's all right, I keep talking like this.
Yeah.
Questions, anything? No, when certain great artists pass away, you know you will never see them again in your lifetime. And top of that list is Freddie, and there's Elvis, and there's Michael Jackson, there's Prince. We won't see these guys again. They won't come back. We won't see them. You know? So let's thank goodness we did see them and we had them.
I do love Michael Jackson too.
Well, but you won't see him again.
I know, I've never seen him.
No, but and being in the planet, those artists I said, we'll never see them again. You know, we never will. And even songwriters like Lennon and McCartney will never see again together.
No.
Unbelievable. And if you want to jump, but you know.
It's unfair, more than unbelievable. It's unfair.
Yes, life.
Sì. Ok, David, sei anche un collezionista e da quanto tempo sei fan dei Queen?
So, how long have you been a Queen fan? And we wanted to know, are you a collector as well?
I'm not a collector. I mean, I've got Queen albums, I've got the greatest hits of Queen and all of that. And I'm not a collector. Not really. No, I'm not a collector. I mean, I have this above me here, which is a poster that's got my lyric. It's got In My Defense on it and a picture of Freddie, which is very rare. I've got that, which is a rare poster to have. But no, I don't, you know, I'm not a collector. I'm just, you know, You know, I count myself lucky that Dave Clark knew Freddie Mercury and he sang my lyric and made it something that will last a lot. After I've left the planet, that song will still be here. People will be listening to it. So
yeah.
If that's all I do with my life, so be it.
Great.
Yes.
Ok. David, abbiamo avuto il piacere di vederti a Montreux quest'anno, durante i festeggiamenti del compleanno di Freddie. Cosa ne pensi di questo evento?
So we have the pleasure of seeing you in Montreux during the Freddie celebration days this year.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts about this event?
I loved it enormously, and I was kicking myself that I'd never gone before, because that was stupid. Because the first day I got there, I was kind of just saying hello to people, and someone said, "Oh, are you a Freddie Mercury fan?" I said, "Well, yes, of course. I'm here." And they said, "Oh, yeah, did you see him in concert?" I said, "No, I've never seen him in concert." I said, "I met him once." And the minute I said I'd met him, "How did you meet him? How did you meet him?" I said, "Well, I wrote this song called In My Defense." It was like unbelievable response to that. Had to bringing the friends over. This man wrote In My Defense. No, you didn't. How can you say that? You know, I said, well, you know, how can you say you wrote the lyrics to In My Defense? Dave Clark wrote the lyrics. I said, well, actually, Dave didn't. He produced the song. I said, but I actually wrote the lyrics. And then I was able to show them some things on my phone. And immediately, these 5 people became 10 people. And the next day it was 40 people. And the next day it was 50 people want to say hello. And how did this song happen? So basically it was a wonderful time and kind of bringing it all back. And I didn't realize how much this song meant to Freddie Mercury Queen fans, which was overwhelming. I mean, people telling me I play this song 100 times a month. I drive to work listening. It wakes me up in the morning. I'm thinking, wow. And I mean, one girl in front of me, when I was talking to her, she burst into tears, you know, that I was the person who wrote these words for, you know. I said, listen, I know they're good words and the song works. I said, but it's his performance that takes the song where I could never have dreamed it could be taken. So, yes. So I thought it was a very good, and the band I saw playing there, Queen and Francesco's band.
Ah, yeah, we saw them too.
My God, they are amazing. They are
we know him.
The best tribute band I have ever seen in my life or heard. Because as I said to him, I said, you're amazing. I said, Adam Lambert singing with Queen is a phenomenal. But it's Adam Lambert on the stage. I don't see Freddie. I said, you singing, looking, the costumes, the way you do it, and the sound, I see the spirit of Freddie on the stage. That's the best I could give you. That's what I see. So
I agree.
Yeah, great. So,
ok, quindi David, ti è piaciuto a Montreux? Hai visitato i luoghi dove hanno registrato qualche album? Ancora a Montreux?
Okay, do you agree that Montreux is a place to find peace? Did you like it? Did you visit the studios as well?
I was in the studios. I went to the party. In fact, this poster behind me, I gave a copy to the casino to put in the Freddie thing. I signed it, and I gave one to Norbert in the Queen shop.
Yeah, I know him.
So I gave it to him to sign. That was the 2 I gave, and I donated 2 for a charity they would do or something, and signed them for them, because it's a very rare poster, because it actually came from a magazine that disappeared, but I had it to have a copy. Anyway, I loved it. I just thought the energy from the Queen fans was unbelievable. I mean, just that energy and that kind of love for Queen and Freddie was just palpable around the whole place where the statue is. And just people, you know, and then all the accents from across the world there, all gathered in one day for happy occasions, you know, and literally peace and love and Freddie and Queen, which is cool.
And nobody was there to judge anybody.
No. Just, you know, my favorite song is this. My favorite song is that. Oh, I love this. Now, did you see him in Wembley? Did you see it? Oh, and just talking about it. And because most of the good times in your life, a lot of them will be remembered by a song.
Mhm.
Moments in song, because a song comes on the radio or whatever, and I hear it and I go, oh, I remember where I was when I first heard that, what was I doing in my life? And only music can give you that. Obviously your photographs can, but outside of that, only music gives you that. It's amazing music. So I'm I'm working on other things at the moment, which is good. So I'm still producing things, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Quindi lo rivedremo nei prossimi anni a Montreux.
So there's a chance we could see you again in Montreux in the next.
I've already booked my hotel. Yeah. In fact, I don't know which weekend it is, before his birthday or after his birthday. So I booked 2 hotels, one in each, and then I'll cancel one. So
we just went there for a day, so we had to come there in the morning and leave in the evening, and we came back home at 6 a.m.
Of course, yes. Well, I mean, I was there for 4 days, so it was great, and I met a lot of people, and Francesco, especially in his band, and it was cool. And,
indeed. It was lovely.
But
the girl who cried in front of you when you said, what was she like? Because maybe I know her.
I really can't. I don't know her name, and I mean, some of them were Italian names and Spanish and French, and I don't know. But she just started crying. She said, "This is my favorite song of all Freddie Mercury singles."
Oh, okay. Because it's an attitude that it's something I would recognize in a friend of mine.
Yeah,
she totally do that. So I was wondering,
black hair, petite,
black hair,
darkish hair. I think she does.
No, so she's not what she.
But anyway, she was just she was, she was just overwhelmed that. I had written these lyrics.
I expected a friend of mine to be like this, so no, it's not her.
No, anyway. So your friend likes that song, yeah?
She loves Freddie in general.
Cool. Yeah. No, it's, as I said, it's, to me, that song is not in time anymore. It's Freddie's song. It's Freddie Mercury's song. Yeah. He's singing about himself, and I mean, obviously, because of the way he died, it's a shame. But the lyrics fit, because we all make mistakes. And, God bless him, Freddie made a terrible mistake, but it was a mistake easy to make in those times. People didn't really get what was happening, but then again, I don't know what it is in the world, but Elvis died at 42, John Lennon died at 42, George Michael wasn't very old, Prince was 50. Certain people just come to this planet, they deliver unbelievable things for the rest of us, and then they just go for whatever reason. George was ill, Freddie was ill, John Lennon should never have died at that age, that was appalling, and Elvis was ill through lots of different things. But some people just come, and they're only, the star shines for so long, and then something happens and they go. But the point is, they create such a bright star that won't ever disappear, which is Mr. Mercury. Yeah.
And the Fading Dream lyric too, I interpret it as, his dream was to sing for all his life, and it's fading because he knew he was going to die.
Yeah. And he was saying, almost to me when I listened, although I wrote it and I'm trying to get what Freddie might have been thinking, just to say, I've made a mistake, don't judge me, because I'm just a singer with a song.
It's all I have.
That's what I am, so don't judge me too hard on anything. I'm just a singer with a song. And how can I right the wrong? That's it. So basically that's how it touches people.
Hai mai visto i Queen dal vivo o se li hai incontrati anche in altre occasioni? E poi volevo chiederti se per caso sei riuscito a vedere il concerto di Freddie nell'87 con Cliff Richards.
Okay, have you ever seen Queen performing live? And did you manage to see a Freddie's concert in 1987 with Cliff Richards?
No, I didn't. Oh, you mean, sorry, in the theatre? No, you don't mean that.
Wait, intendi quello al teatro, Fra?
Sì, quello che avevamo fatto nell'87.
Yeah.
Sì, sì,
That one.
I was in the Dominion when they were on stage together.
Ah,
Yeah, that was cool.
I
Yeah.
can imagine.
It's a charity evening. Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Ok, prima o poi lo vedremo quel concerto in filmato o se lo sentiamo in audio prima o poi o no?
Will we have some footage, maybe audio or video of that concert someday?
I don't know because Dave Clark owns everything, and it's up to Dave. I mean, Dave wouldn't even allow, other producers were asking if they could put Time back on the stage, and Dave wouldn't let them.
Ah, okay.
Very kind of, it's his domain. And
No, it's okay. I respect that.
You know, he never wants anything to get done unless he's doing it.
Okay,
Ok.
it's fine.
Ma tu, David, l'hai mai visti Queen dal vivo?
And have you ever seen Queen in general performing live?
No Queen.
No.
Every time Queen were doing something around England, I was doing something else as an actor or whatever. I only ever saw Freddie on the stage at the Dominion.
Ah, okay.
I know. What can you say? But then again, I never saw Elvis either. But I did see the Beatles.
Ah,
I was like 13 and I saw the Beatles.
Però.
no, I didn't.
Niente
But we
male.
did see Queen and Adam Lambert.
Oh, good. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Questo è. Ok, David, quali sono i tuoi progetti futuri e se ci saranno altri incontri con i fans?
Okay, do you have any upcoming projects for the future? Will there be more fan meetings, maybe?
I've just completed a new musical play with 9 songs in it. And there's only 3 people in the musical play and 1 set, because I decided that I would write something that is very easy to produce in the West End or on Broadway or Australia or Canada or whatever. So I've just finished that project just now, and I'm looking at getting finance on that because it's one of the best things I've ever written. And it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool piece. So that's done that. And I mean, I've had many musicals produced, so never back into, I was one of the writers on a musical about A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens, another musical called Blockbuster, which was all the songs of 2 great songwriters called Nicky and Mike Chapman from the 70s and 80s. These are the guys that wrote for Suzi Quatro, Mud, Sweet, Smokey, Tina Turner. I did that. And then I wrote another musical called Across the Wall about the Berlin Wall. Before it fell, a year before it fell, was taken down, I've written a musical about a girl who wants to be an opera singer in East Berlin, and she can't, so she gets across the wall to West Berlin. But her boyfriend gets captured, and they sing across the wall to each other. Anyway, it's very good, and it's opera and pop songs. And I wrote it with a great writer called Alan Hawkshaw, who actually died a little while ago, Alan. But one day we're going to get this musical on the West End called Across the Wall. So I've been doing other things as well, and also writing some film scripts. I have a film script called Through These Eyes, and the music is by a singer-songwriter called Chris de Burgh. Lady in Red. Do we know Lady in Red?
No.
Not really, I have to be honest.
Okay, but he's a huge star in Germany. But Lady in Red as a single sold 11 million copies.
Oh.
I will give a listen to it.
I have to give a listen to Lady in Red. Well, anyway, listen. So I've been working with Chris de Burgh as well. I mean, this has sold 50 million albums.
Allora, sicuramente l'avrò sentito, sicuramente.
He thinks he probably heard it somewhere.
You will. It's a song that people either love or hate, but 11 million people wrote it.
Well, it's okay. I'm okay with that because I'm pretty much very open-minded with music. So I will give it a listen.
Funny thing was, you know whose favorite song it was? Princess Diane.
Ah,
Her favorite song.
wow.
There you go. Yeah. Trivia.
Ok, David. Allora, ritornando alla tua bellissima canzone, vedere un video fatto così bene, così emozionante, anche commovente, che emozione ti suscita?
Back to you In My Defense. What kind of feelings do you get by watching such a wonderful, emotional and moving music video?
What feelings do I get?
Mhm.
Pride. Pride. And just feeling of great luck of being in the right place at the right time, at the right moment in my life. And as I said, the things, we all have times in our lives when we're in the right moment, the right time, the right moment, the right place and time. But the things that could be going before that and after it, that it would never happen, are unbelievably, a lot of things can be going on. So basically, to have, you know, at that point, the greatest singer in the world, I think, because Elvis had gone, a greatest singer in the world to record my song is just, there's no feeling like it. When you, I mean, I listen to it, every time I listen to the song, it's like I'm hearing it for the first time.
Wow.
That's as good as I can say about it every time. And it's just, it always gets emotional when you hear it. You can't, you know, I hear other great songs, you know, Let It Be by the Beatles, which I think is phenomenal. I think, oh man, this is a really, really good song, and McCartney is great, and this is a great lyric, but I'm not emotionally involved. But every time I hear Freddie, I can't help but be emotionally involved. Thank you, Freddie.
Yeah.
Yeah. There he is. Mamma mia, mamma mia.
He's there too, wait.
Yeah. Oh, Queen. Yeah, cool. Cool. There you go.
Comunque, David, ti facciamo veramente i migliori complimenti, sei veramente una persona fantastica. Hai scritto una canzone bellissima, meglio di così non si
No,
potrebbe
this is
fare.
just, our respects go to you because you wrote a wonderful song and you're fantastic in general. So you're very easygoing to talk to. It's a pleasure to talk to you, and yeah, in general, thank you for the song.
Well, I only know a little bit of Italian, and I'm not giving it to him. I'm going to give it to you. Io ti amo.
Oh!
Oh, good.
So this was for me, not for him.
No,
Tranquillo, Mauri, era per me, non per te.
No, it's just it's the only thing I can remember, because my wife, before we were divorced, she was Italian descent, and this is the words I use. So that's why you got it. So there. Anyway, I always believe in laughing. Laugh a lot. Life is good if you laugh a lot.
Yeah, if we don't laugh, what are we living for?
Point. Yes, exactly. So there you go. And yes, so.
Ok, David,
But
speriamo di rivederci anche al prossimo anno a Montreux, se riusciamo.
Yeah, if we manage to come back to Montreux, I hope we could see you again.
that would be great. Yeah. Talk on the spot and things, and yes. Well, it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
It was. Thank you.
Grazie David, a presto e grazie veramente per tutto. Grazie mille.
Thank you so much for everything. Thank you for your time, and
We'll give him one word. Arrivederci.
Ciao, arrivederci. Ciao,
Bye, guys.
grazie. Ciao David.
Grazie. Bye.
Ciao David. Ciao.
Bye.
Time waits for nobody. Time waits for no for nobody, 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 for no one.